And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. And yes, a supersized Golf Wednesday today as we get ready for the Masters, teeing off in the morning, the drive down Magnolia Lane. Let's do it, baby. Smylie Kaufman, of course, is with us every week. You catch the Smylie Show every week here on SportsGrid, and he is there getting ready for the Masters in Augusta. Smylie, it is great to see you as always, my man. First thing, you're down there. It looks awesome. The course looks great. The weather looks great. And I'm seeing you with the Smylie Show. I mean, how about talking to Ben Crenshaw this week about winning the Champions Dinner, everything? That was really cool, Smylie.
It was pretty legendary stuff. Getting to sit down with Ben Crenshaw for 30 minutes. It was definitely a highlight of the Smylie Show for certain. And this is just a great week. You said it. The weather looks incredible. Really, I mean, it rained pretty much all day Monday, and then yesterday was fantastic. Today was great. Had a chance to walk the golf course today, get a pretty up close look at every single hole. It looks a little bit different, I'll say, just with 11, 12, 13, the amount of trees that are down compared to years past. So visually, it looks a little bit different to my eye. But if you went for a first time, you would never be able to notice. But I think just some sight lines are a little bit different. And then just overall course-wise, it was pretty slow yesterday, but the greens got ramped up again today, and the place appears to be fairly dry, and I think it's going to be a very firm and fast Masters this year.
Of course, Smylie, I would say the biggest storyline, and we love the Masters for storylines. That's what it's all about. I mean, look, you have Scottie going for 3 out of 4, 2 in a row. Hasn't won this year. He's the favorite on the board. And then you have Rory, who's playing the best golf ever going into the Masters. He's won twice this year at Pebble and at the Players. So those are like the two titans right now, Smylie. I'll get into the rest of the field in a moment, but how about these two big guys, the two big storylines going into tomorrow?
Well, I think Rory is probably the biggest story, knowing that this is the one he's hasn't been able to win to complete the Grand Slam. He's already won a couple times this year, big events, and it just kind of seems like it's his time for the Masters this year. The mental side of the game, it just seems like, to me, watching from the outside and even watching him inside the ropes early this year, the game just seems natural to him. He's not fighting himself. It's really impressive to watch. And then, of course, Scottie going for 3 out of 4. I mean, it's pretty dang impressive. He said earlier this week in a press conference that this is the best form he's been in heading to any tournament this year. And when you think about this golf course and how well he's played it and how suited it is to his game as far as just how good he is with his irons and underrated he is with his pitching around the greens. And what it really all comes down to this week is, can you go out and just hammer out the par fives? If you can go out and play these par fives well, and then be really good tee to green on the other holes, you're going to have a chance come Sunday.
This usually, Smylie, isn't a tournament where you've got some big long shot bomb that comes in. Now, look, we've had them. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It seems like once every 10 or 12 years, somebody does come out of nowhere and win it. But for the most part, it's the big dogs that are going to eat here, Smylie. And I actually think there's a bunch of them near the top of this board that are kind of getting slept on a little bit, whether that's Jon Rahm, maybe, who's won here, Xander, who won 2 majors last year. How about these other guys that are right below Scottie and Rory?
Well, I think Colin Morikawa is the one that is the first one that comes to my brain, just because of how good of an iron player he's been in his career. He's typically gotten better each year with the putter. You don't necessarily have to be the best putter in the field to win this golf tournament, but what you really need to have is the ability to control your golf ball, avoid 3-putting. And, Colin Morikawa, he's done a really nice job of that. He's had some good events here, of course. But other guys, too, that are a little down the board, I mean, I lean more Bryson DeChambeau probably over Jon Rahm. I just think Bryson's length is such an asset. And obviously playing well in the major season last year, getting off to a nice start last week at the Live Miami. I think he's another player that's going to have a good week. But, distance is, I think, a really key aspect of this golf course, because then landing angles into these greens that are going to be very firm, players that are going to have shorter irons, and I think that's a tremendous advantage.
How about Smylie a little bit further? First of all, I don't want to run out of time. Give me who's your pick this week, because you always have the one and done pick. You hit a couple weeks ago with Minwoo. Who do you have? Who's your guy to win Augusta this week?
I took Bryson, and so with one and done, of course, the idea is to maybe not use the PGA Tour players, because the live guys you can only use 4 times during the year. So my strategy has been to try to go live golfers at the majors. So Bryson's my favorite of that group. But other guys I really like too. Shane Lowry is a player that I really think has played really well this year. Sepp Straka. I think Will Zalatoris is really being slept on. And even a player like Victor Hovland, I think he's got tremendous value just because of how talented he is. And just look at even last year at the PGA Championship, had no form and just about won that event. So Victor Hovland's a guy that I think people continue to sleep on. And he's already won this year. And even so, it's crazy that he's probably still working on everything. But Victor Hovland could just as easily win this event too.
Yeah, kind of really not being talked about at all, Smylie, even though he won 3 weeks ago. Some of the older guys are playing well, too. Sergio, Phil. There's a few guys that have been playing some pretty good golf. Maybe can hang around that leaderboard Saturday and Sunday.
Maybe even a guy like Keegan Bradley, too, the captain of the United States Ryder Cup team. Keegan Bradley could have a good week. That wouldn't surprise me. And he's trying to play his way onto the team and not have to be a captain's pick. So this one would go a long way for him.
He'd get plenty of points this week, Smylie, if he could pull it off. He'd go a long way towards making that happen. Smylie, enjoy it down there this week. We will be watching you right here on SportsGrid on the Smylie Show for all the great stuff you're going to have down there. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. It's the best, man. Masters week, you can't beat it.
Let's go, Smylie. Masters week, baby.